Hola y buenos días y feliz día de los Reyes en España. Y aquí tengo un artículo sobre el vocabulario y frases específicamente por los Reyes, ¿vale? Okay, here I will share the screen and you can see on the left, this is the article and the article is in relación al Reyes, ¿vale? It's from the magazine Time and that's the website. So if you want to search yourself, great, and I'll show you the picture and the text. Okay, so it's bastante largo, it's quite long. So you can see a lot of vocabulary, a lot of story, a lot of text. And just to show you the finish, so that's the bottom, okay, al fondo. And on my page, I have the important vocabulary, the key things, los cosas muy clave para the use of English, okay, for the use of English, for English in general, and I have all the pages identified, okay? So I want to explain just the key parts. So the first page, you can see that's the story. Here's what history can tell us about the Magi, okay? So I'll make that smaller and you can see. On the right, I have my notes here on the document, my notes. So you can see that my words are comments. And on the left, also I have word reference if we need to look for translations specifically for Spanish. So in the picture, you can see all the people, and I think it's a famous painting in Madrid. You can see the Museo del Prado, the Adoration of the Magi. A close-up is a closest circa, but a close-up is a picture that's muy cerca al protagonistas, okay? Christmas Day, May, so May is the modal, it's a possibility, it's may or might, the two are the same, may or might. In this situation, it's the modal, may or might. So they may or might, it's a possibility, modal. And let me just fix the spelling, possibility. And after the modal, you have the infinitive. Okay, so after the modal, you have the infinitive. So here, plus be, infinitive. Oh, siempre, always. But it's not the end of the Christmas story. In many Western Christian traditions, and you can see here culminating around, it's like approximately January 6th, known as is conocido como, known as, the feast. In particular, the translation in English is festín banqueta, okay, so the feast of the Epiphany. Wise men, so wise in English is sabioso, and the three kings are los tres reyes. Okay, newborn is the adjective, so article the definite article the. Newborn is adjective and baby is the substantivo. The next one is these, so that's related to plural. Remember, you have singular, this, singular, in the location, it's close to you, that, singular, and then you have these, plural, and you have those, plural also. And it depends on the distance. Okay, so singular here, close to circa a t, is this, fuera is that, plural is these, and fuera is those, plural. Okay, and here it's these, so it's circa a t. Inspired by, that's the typical preposition, inspired by. Historical, you need to be careful in English, the difference between history and story. Okay, so story is like cuenta, and history is ancient, so very old. So there's a big difference really between history and the story. Okay, so tengo una historia del fin de semana, I have a story. Pero quiero contar la historia de España is history, because it's muy ancient, very old. Okay, so that's the difference. And here it's the adjective, historical is the adjective. Okay, to tie is connected with the preposition to, And to tie specifically is como conectar. Yes, okay, so amayar, algo a, atar, algo a. So it's atar and a, tie to a. Brief is breve, very breve. Do is emphasis. Track is como seguir. Okay, and do is just emphasis. So it's not really necessary. It's just extra emphasis on the verb to track. But brief is breve, muy breve. Okay, so the next page, again, this, that, these. In is the typical preposition for the Biblia, for the Bible, and in is typical for the chapter. You need to be careful with the difference between chapter and episode. Okay, so chapter is the book, capitula, but in the television series, always it's episode. So that's the big, big difference in English between the chapter and the TV series. And the next one is the verb to be born. Very, very important. Nacer in Espanol, but in English, it's necessary the verb to be. Always, siempre, 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 the verb to be born. Very important, okay? So in English, to be born. The verb to be plus born, okay? And here's the past simple, was born. After ruled, you have the combination ruled by, and that's probably similar in Spanish as well. Came from is the typical preposition, come from. I come from Dublin, I come from Ireland, desde, or de, okay? The Jews, specifically Judeas, and a Jew specifically is Judío, Judias, in plural, okay? So when we saw his star, when it is related to this estrella. Came, again, is the verb to come, and it's the past, came up, como aparecer, to appear in the east, and we have to come to worship him. Okay, so the verb to worship is como adorar. I think similar to adorar. Yes, venerar, alabar. And that's the same. So according to is según, and then the men is the plural. So one man singular, and men is plural. So singular, man, pronunciation, and plural is men. Okay, so very, very important. Men, plural, and man, singular. Presented is the verb in the past, gift, como dar. Okay, to give gifts. Wealth is como rico, muy, muy rico, presented wealth and power. Okay, so wealth is rico. Specifically here, it is riqueza. Okay, wealth is the substantive, the noun, and wealthy is the adjective, adjetivo. So very good vocabulary, very advanced really, but different from Spanish, because rico, also we have rich in English. So they're very similar, but they're synonyms, wealthy and rich. Okay, good. And outlier. So it's from out is fuera, and lie is in tumbarse. So an outlier is algo diferente. Mir is algo diferente, according to, según. Forthcoming. So come is the verb to come, and forth is maybe plural. It's older English, forthcoming. So it means really the book, libro, is in the future, it's coming, but it's forthcoming. It's a bit more formal English and probably older English as well. And it's possible with the truth, el verdad, is not forthcoming in relation to an investigation. So the truth is not forthcoming. Como esconder, to hide the truth, or mantener el verdad. According to, again, según. For embalm is the verb, specific, and I think in Spanish possibly it's similar to embalm. Yes, okay, so very, very similar. Persevere, embalsamar. Okay, and here it's the gerundio, it's the process, it's the adjective, I think in this case. Interpret as, that's the typical adjective, and foreshadowing again is old English. Foreshadow, just to emphasize and just to show specifically. The best translation would be here. Okay. Alertar. Yes, probably alertar. Jesus' death. And you need to be careful because the verb is to die. el verbo, and the adjective is dead. The substantivo is death. Okay, so very important here, and death is the substantivo, and it's the possession. Painkiller is a substantivo también, and pain is dolor, and kill is matar. So a pain, to kill the pain is the verb, matar el dolor, and the painkiller is the product or the medicine, probably the medicine. Okay, it's the noun. Very good. And given that is an expression, it's like a linker. And it's a good, comfortable linker, dad okay. So it's the verb to give, como dar, and the expression here is dad okay. The next paragraph, we have luxurious, is from lujo, and luxurious is the adjective, so the gifts are the substantivo, adjective is luxurious. These, again, it's plural because it's the location is close to you, so it's these. People are for plural, so you need to be careful. One person, singular, and plural is two people. Okay, very good. So one person, but are people plural. Great wealth, again, rico, very rich, based on, basado en. Okay, so in English is the preposition based on. Refer is typical with the preposition to, you refer to. Priest are padres. I think specifically it's a padre in the iglesia. So the priest specifically is padre cura. Yes, I knew there's another word, curas. Known as, conocido como, typical combination, as we saw before. Might, again, is the modal. We may or we might is the same, may or might. In keeping with, in mantener con. Very much in keeping with, in mantener con. Looking to the heaven, the cielos. Okay, a point out is apuntar, identificar. Phrasal verb, to point out, identificar. In is the preposition with the book. Other is with the plural, other gifts, and singular is another. Okay, so let me write just to remember or to remind. Another book with other books. So plural with another, with other, and another for singular. Okay, and yeah, so very important, very typical in exams, this type of grammar and vocabulary and detail. So the next page, como hacer sentido, to make sense of, good combination. Unsuccessful is the negative, como success is éxito, successful exitoso, and negative no exitoso. Okay, vague is nebuloso, the opposite of clear, so it's not clear, it's nebuloso. Vague, very good vocabulary. Clue is pista, a hint or a clue. We have two vocabulary in English which are the same, a hint or a clue. And all over, since is, in this case, I think it's como. So normally since is desde, but in this case, I think it's como. And can is a modal verb with the ability. So can is modal and the infinitive mean. So always after a modal, you have the infinitive. But can is ability. So it has the ability to mean astronomers, wise men, or magicians. Apply to, so the typical preposition with the verb to apply for a job, apply to a job, apply to a company, and the preposition is to, apply to. Sorry, apply to a company, this is the difference. Apply to a company, but apply for a job. So the difference in with apply with to and apply for. Important for the use of English. And then all over is every part of the worldwide or every part of the word, all over. This one is more difficult. They bore, so the verb is to bear, como llevar, to carry, very similar to carry. And the past is bore, past. And you have an example, I cannot bear, no puedo tolerar the weather, el tiempo. So it's a very good verb to bear, como llevar, and it's also possible with un bebé, un niño, to bear a child, is to carry a child. Okay, it's possible also. And probably it's connected to born, to be born in relation to the birth. So this is the past. They carried, they bore gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Hint, como pista, hint and clue are the same. Camel is the animal, and a camel in Espanol is cameo. Okay, so very similar. Interest in, the preposition. Famous for, the preposition. Guess, adivinar, in the substantivo. Turn out is a phrasal verb. It's like the result, resultado en. It turned out to be, it resulted to be. Turn out, result, resultado en. Decorator, so the verb is to decorate. Como the room, to decorate a room. And the decoration, substantivo. The noun, and the person is a decorator with o or. You need to be careful with the ending, the suffijo, o or. Okay, the person. And here's the plural, decorators, whose, cuyos, whose golden entry mosaic featured dressed as. So dress is vestir, and the past, dressed, como. Vestir como in pasado. Renowned in Espanol is como famoso. Renowned, I think similar to famoso. Yes, renombrado, okay. Stargazer, so star is estrella, and the verb to gaze is como fijar in Espanol. Fijar. Okay, so people that fijar or mirar a las estrellas, stargaze. Actually is de hecho, in reality, actual persons or real persons, marauding, I think probably, that is a Latin word. Okay, no, it's different. Saqueador. Yes, merodedor. Okay, so not too different. But here's the verb, past, and the gerundio. Okay, and this one is the verb to torch, como quemar. There is a verb in English to torch. It's like to burn. And I think in Spanish it's quemar, to torch, to burn. And it is also a substantivo, but here the verb specifically here is incendiar. Yes, incendiar, quemar. Perfect. All right, good. So the next page is page 6. Lively is como con mucha vivo, vibrant, I think vibrante. Had a vibrante post-biblical career as early as were promoted to. So in relation to your job, in relation to a company, you receive a promotion, or the verb to be promoted to, okay? Promoted to a new position. Associated with, that's a typical preposition. Settle is like calmar. Agree, acuerdo, settle. In the past, settled on. And in relation to a topic, you agree on a topic. Likely, probably. Because of is the typical combination. Because of the weather, because of the situation, because of. Current, actual. So the nombre es actual. In Espanol, actual. Is said, that's the pasivo. So the pasivo and the activo is said. The verb to be, and said is the participle. Good example of the pasivo. And in English, it's the passive voice grammar. Okay. Beard is barba. So beardless is sin barbas. Ruddy is como roja, red. Heavily is con mucha barba, muchas barbas, bearded, okay? Heavily is heavy, is like pesado, and it's connected to the barba. Underscore is like to guarantee or to emphasize the ambitions. And the threesome is the grupo de tres personas. Okay, doble con dos, pero threesome con tres. Mantener ocupado, to keep busy in pasado. So the verb mantener in the pasado is kept. So the verb keep is the verb. And pasado is kept. Okay, good. Kept busy, that is at the top. well into is like, and the golden years are the años de oro, the most valuable, most important, the most enjoyable, disfrutar el más, the golden years. And into is in relation to the years, the preposition muy, entre. Al menos is at least, according to, según. Housed, house is casa, but también in English it's possible a verb to house. So that's the reason I identify this. To house a family is como poner una familia en acomodarse, in a house, okay? Undergo, a trial is como tener, to have. Undergo is the verb, is to experience, or to have, maybe to experience as a synonym, or to have, they'd be very, very similar, okay? And the past is undergone. So just to finish that, undergone is the past. Okay, and the trial is the connection with undergone, a trial. Thereupon is very formal, very old, it's como después. Therefore, thereupon specifically, here the translator, very old English, very formal. Inmediatamente después. Okay, por eso they died. So again, it's the same. The verb is to die. The past simple is died. The substantivo is the death, and the adjective is dead. Okay, so that is page 6. Page 7, play is jugar in the pasado. A role is papel. Jugar un papel. A multiracial set is a collection, a set of books, a collection of books, a set of CDs, a collection of CDs. Trade is comercio, business. So increased business, increased comercio between the two. Was written, that's the passive, the verb to be in the past, and the participle. According to, según. Cement is concretar. Concretar, the image, in Espanol is imagen, but in English the pronunciation is the image. So very important for the pronunciation, the image of the magi. As a diverse group of men, in is connected with imagination. So in my imagination, the preposition. Okay. Date back to is the verb. So it dates back to, that's the verb, to date back to. And clergymen, the clergymen specifically, the translation is here, singular, clérigo. Okay, pastor, okay. Yeah, so the clergyman, just the pronunciation is a bit difficult, and it's singular, clergyman. And a Christmas carol is the canción de Navidad muy famosos in English, Christmas carol. Basado en, based on, very typical combination, based on. Going on is happening. So what's going on is the expression, like what's happening. What is going on? What is ocurrir? What is happening? Okay, in Hispano, ocurrir. To make sense, hacer sentido. Again, okay, so we saw that before. And then the final page, sums up, is conclusion, conclude. Swenson concludes or sums up. It's a phrasal verb, to sum up, to conclude, to summarize. So let me write that better. Yeah, to summarize, very similar, and to conclude. In good company, so good friends, and the typical preposition in good company, particular lives. So live is the substantivo of vidas. So the verb is to live, el verbo. The substantivo is a life, vida. And then plural are lives, irregular. Okay, plural. And come down to us, in inheritance. So you receive from the history, you receive from the past. It's come down in the history, come down from the generations. Okay, and here to remember. So in English, the difference between to remember, recordar, and to remind. So recordar, I remember, but I remind you. So very important difference, to remember and to remind. So I'm just going to show you the translation here. Remember Y remember with the verb, specifically with the verb, acordarse, recordar a, and then the other one is remind. We need to be very clear. Recordar que. So they're the differences. Very little difference, but very obvious and very important in English. Also, the last three words are very important to book. Es como cambiar, drastic cambiar. Book our expectations, to change very drastically. Okay, and you can see here, book. El verbo is here, corcoviar. Okay, but it's really cambiar mucho. And there's a famous expression as well, to book the trend. Como ir contra, to go against the trend. To baffle is confundir. To baffle, let me find the dictionary again. Baffle here specifically is the verb, and it's a very good verb, confundir. Okay, so to baffle, confuse with contradiction, unless we read them. And finally, unless, so you're very clear with the linker, a menos que. Okay, so that's the vocabulary. Quite difficult, and I recommend that you review again or you check again for curiosity, but the topic is very appropriate for today. And espero que tienes un buen día, pasa un buen día, y gracias de nuevo. Y ojalá que puedas escribir una pregunta o comentario en mi video, y seguir mis cuentas y videos también. So I hope that you follow my videos. You can see more, and thank you for watching, and talk to you soon. Thank you very much. Bye.